Hi everyone, my name is Havish Madhupati. Welcome to video number 7 in a series of 100 videos where I teach you how to recreate consulting charts on Microsoft Excel. What we have here with us today is a scatter chart, and this KPMG scatter chart has an X and a Y axis, and we can see how the 5 stores are plotted here. So we want to make this on Microsoft Excel, but we want to make it one better by making it a bubble chart where the size of each one of the circles here is also representative of a different value. So this is the data set that we are working with. We have 51,290 records. And if I apply a filter, you can see that we have the market. We have 3 categories and the sales and the profit. So 5 markets, 3 categories, the sales and the profit. What we would like to do here is to first get a list of all the markets that we have. So I'm just going to copy the market heading, and we can do a unique of all the cells from P3 till 51292, and we get a list of all the 5 unique markets. Next, I would also like to see the total sales and total profit for each one of these. So this would be the profit and this would be the sales value. Now what we're doing is we will add a drop down for the segment that we want. So the user can choose the segment that they want. Now in this, we will put in the name of the segment manually, since there are only 3 of them: furniture, office supplies, and technology. So we go to data validation. We want to allow a list that would be furniture, office supplies, and technology. And as you can see, the user can choose any one of the 3 of them. Let's increase the column width a little bit. What we would like to do now is to find the total profit for United States for the given segment that we have. For this, we can use a SUMIFS where the range will be column B. But if you think about it, there are 2 conditions. We want to search for a particular market and a particular segment. So the SUMIFS will not suffice. We have to use a SUMIFS. The sum range here will be column E. The first criteria range will be the market, and the criteria will be H3 hash that allows me to select all the 5 together. The criteria range 2 will be the category column, and the category that we want is office supplies. In fact, let me change the heading here. This should be the category and not the segment. We do the exact same thing one more time, but this time we are searching not in column E, but in column D. So we have the profit and sales, and this is dynamic because as the user switches between the 3 categories, the profit and the sales changes as well. One more time, we want to now calculate the profit margin. That would be nothing but the profit, so I3 hash divided by the sales, which is J3 hash. And we can also convert this into a percentage. And let's add 2 decimal places. Now that we have the data with us, we can select everything. I will go to insert and select recommended charts. And in all charts, we have an XY scatter. Now, in this, there are a few options that we have. So the one we want to select is the bubble. And if you look at this one, this is what we want. Let's press OK, remove the title, and we also don't want the legend. Now, as you can see, we don't need the reference image. Let's keep it on the side. So as you can see, our y-axis is not starting at 0. Let's fix that. Double click on the y-axis and ensure that the minimum is 0. And now if you look at the x-axis, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So clearly something is not right. If I go to select data, here again you will notice we have the profit and the profit margin. So it tells us that there's something wrong. So let's create the chart one more time. We will again go back to insert and charts. And if you look at the recommended charts, this time there's one where the axis seems correct. This is the one we want. As we did before, we will make the minimum at 0. We'll also make sure that on the x-axis as well, the minimum starts at 0. Let's remove the title. So as you can see, the profit margin is what tells us, or rather the size of the bubble is what tells us the profit margin. Now, how do we connect each of these 5 with the markets that we have? If we add the data label, you will see that at the moment it is showing us 1163721. So it is showing us the sales value. But what we can do is to double click on this. We will now select value from cells and we want to select the profit margin. Now both of these are coming, but we don't really need that. So we can remove the Y value. And as you can see, this is the final chart that we have. And it's very clear that the larger the profit margin, the larger is the size of the bubble. In case you want to keep all the 3 values, that is also possible. I can double click and we can add the X and the Y value. So now you notice it is showing us the profit, the sales, as well as the profit margin. So that control is completely with you. And in the separator, we can even add a new line. So this looks very neat because all the 3 numbers are coming one below the other. Now you might want to make a few additions, which means that how does the user know that the first number represents the profit and the other one is the sales value? So we can make the chart a little bigger. We will select all the 5 profit values that we have. Right click and format cells. And in this, in custom, it says general. So simply before that, in double quote, we will say profit, colon, add a space, and then close the double quote. The same way here with the sales value, we can go to format cells. And here we add in double quote, sales, colon, and a space. And as you can see, it looks a lot better because now the user does not have any confusion. What about the X and the Y axis? Now that is completely up to you. In this case, when I click on the Y axis, you notice that you can turn it off if that is what you want. So we can simply select it and delete it because this is good enough. The user knows that the profit and the sales is what is being presented. But to make it look better, I would prefer that if we add the text here, so we can go to chart design, chart element, and we will add the axis title. So we will add vertical and we will also add horizontal. So in the horizontal, we can say that let me see if I'm able to click on the axis title. Here we go. And let's make this the sales value. And this becomes the profit value. But the best part is that because it is dynamic, you will notice as we switch between the three categories, the chart changes, which is very cool, right? You can of course make additional formatting changes, for example, adding a background color or change the color of each of the bubble. Those things you can explore on your own. But the big takeaway here is that we have managed to create a bubble chart with custom values that we have picked up. And in this case, the tooltip is not just one value, but three of them. So we have the profit, the sales, as well as the profit margin.